Legend of Total War here, and this is a bit of a channel update video where I'm going to go over how things went in 2017 and let you guys know on what to expect, at least initially, on 2018. So we're at the end of the year. I've been the last week basically looking over everything that I've done this year and tried to see what's worked and what hasn't worked so that I can, of course, make my content better for the future. A lot of the time I am my own worst enemy when it comes to making videos because my personality can be abrasive. Some of you guys, that's the appeal for a lot of you. However, I've very much come to the conclusion that because of just the way I am, I will never ever be the largest or even a huge Total War channel. I'll always just be sort of middling somewhere in the middle, which is fine. I've just come to terms with that. It's not a problem. I certainly don't want to change who I am just to become more appealing to other people. It's just not going to happen, because I'll probably end up bloody being a psychopath. It'll drive me nuts. Anyway, I've always felt that just being as honest as possible, even if that is rage-inducing, that needs to be my way. Anyway, so what's worked in 2017, overwhelmingly so, has been the themed and role-playing campaigns in Rome 1 and Medieval 2. In fact, I was actually thinking to myself the other day, I probably should have done more of them in this year. But I will do more of them next year. We've already started with the new Papal States campaign, which is performing reasonably well. Not so in terms of views, but at least in terms of feedback. You guys seem to be really enjoying it. It's a bit of a weird campaign playing as the Papal States because you're not supposed to be able to play as them. But anyway, there'll be more of those kinds of campaigns. There'll probably be, a few just regular Let's Play campaigns sprinkled in there as well. But we'll see how we go. Another thing is that Total War Warhammer and Warhammer 2, which, it's all Warhammer, Total War Warhammer really. Warhammer 2, for me, doesn't feel like a sequel. It feels like an expansion. It's like they've taken Total War Warhammer 1, and they have improved it a little bit, but it's still just an expansion, in my opinion. That's what it feels like to me. I know some people get butthurt about it whenever I say that, but like I said, that's how it feels like to me, I'm just being honest. But anyway, in terms of Total War Warhammer, I want to reduce my focus on it a little bit more. I've already reduced focus on the newer Total War games, because obviously I do spend a lot of the time criticizing it, because this is part of my problems. When I see a problem in a Total War game, I feel like if I am quiet about it, that's like lying by omission, and I'm not really for that. So, for example, when I play Total War Attila or Total War Warhammer, most of the time is spent me criticizing it. And it's not to say that I don't like these games. I do. Not so much Total War Attila, but Total War Warhammer. I like Total War Warhammer, but I don't love it. And it's hard for me to dedicate every hour of every day playing a game that I don't really love. I've clocked about 200 hours into Total War Warhammer 2, and I feel like that's enough, It's not going to be a game that I'm going to clock 1,000 hours on, because it's exactly the same as Warhammer 1. They've just added a few extra gimmicks, which really didn't change any of the game. That the sieges are the same, the core mechanics are the same. They really didn't add any new great campaign mechanics. There's a few good ones here and there, but for the most part, it's the same game. And so it doesn't. If I was to tomorrow release a new campaign series, it's just going to be the same old shit that I've done time and time again. It's going to be me, the first 5 episodes struggling, and then the next 50 episodes will be me bitching about bad campaign mechanics, but steamrolling all the way. The difficulty is only at the start. But anyway, now in terms of the Tomb Kings, which I've heard are coming out in January, but I don't know for certain because CA has not released any official statements. It's been speculation. I would like to cover the Tomb Kings, but it all will depend this time on early access. Now, I didn't get early access on Mortal Empires. Well, there wasn't really a lot of early access on Mortal Empires. It was like 24 hours, which was really bad, and it was reflected very heavily by the views. For example, with Warhammer 2, the base game, with the Asur campaign, I was given a reasonable amount of early access. Not as much as I would have liked, but enough. And the views were quite good with that. But with the Mortal Empire stuff, people had already been releasing videos by the time I already got it, and so that put me behind everyone else. Now, the reason why I mention this stuff is because this stuff is actually important. Views matter, and if I don't get certain numbers of views on my videos, then I can't justify doing these videos. And I'll mention more about this stuff later down the track. And the reason why if you guys are interested in this stuff, because if you want me to make certain series, if you want me to play Empire, Total War, or whatever, then those series need to reach a certain quota of reviews, otherwise I can't justify it. I don't do this for fun anymore. It's no longer a hobby, it's a job. And it does feel like that. A lot of the time, I don't feel like making videos, but, sometimes you wake up and you'd be like, well, time to go to work. That's just the way it is. But in that regard, I have to make sure the work that I'm doing is going to generate the most views possible. And so taking early access out of the equation on something that I'm not particularly going to enjoy and is not going to generate a whole lot of views on its own doesn't warrant me to do it. So in terms of the Tomb Kings, like I said, I would like to do it, but it very much determines whether or not I'll do it based on early access. If I get early access with even just a couple of days before Embargo is released, then that'll be enough for me to get my head around it and do a couple of episodes. I probably will not do a full campaign, just because the Mortal Empires campaign for Dark Elves is 50 episodes long. That was a mistake. I should not have continued it for that long, but oh well, I've done that now, so that'll continue on until bloody halfway through next year. But with the Tomb Kings one, if it is the Tomb Kings, and if I do get early access, 5 or 10 episodes should be sufficient. I really just can't justify doing whole campaigns of that anymore. Anyway, moving on to something else. Next year I would definitely like to focus more on live streaming. It's been pretty good this year. Got partnered on Twitch, which really didn't seem to do anything, probably because I'm not making much use of it. So I'm going to fix up emotes at some point. It's not something that I want to do, it's something that I have to do. So I'm still working on sort of designs and ideas for what the emotes are going to be, because I want them to be good. I don't want them to just be generic, silly emotes. They need to be good ones, unique ones that give you guys a reason to actually subscribe. So I am going to work on them and hopefully have them done by January next year. I intend to focus a lot of live streaming in January next year, because January and February are the 2 worst months of the year for ad revenue. It's almost not even worth releasing videos during those times. So during that time, it might be better off to focus on live streaming instead. Anyway, so there'll be more of that next year. Another thing that I'm going to focus on more next year is the secondary channel. Something that it's always been a bit of a side project. It's just, if I ever wanted to play a game that wasn't Total War related, I'll just cover it on the secondary channel, and that's what that one was for. But it's never really been particularly profitable. But I'd like to really improve the secondary channel. It's got 10,000 subscribers, and whenever I release a video, it gets a reasonable amount of views. It's not comparable to the primary channel yet, but that being said, I put next to no effort into it. So next year I would like to put a little bit more effort into it. I've got a whole bunch of ideas for things that I can do with Paradox Games related series, in terms of themed and role-playing campaigns, that I would like to see done, but it does, some of these things will actually be a little bit expensive for me to do, but also time consuming, and sometimes I just don't have time. But anyway, there'll be a focus on that next year. Now, in terms of multiplayer, battles and campaigns, occasionally I do get people asking about it, and just direct people to this video now. In 2017, there will be no focus at all on multiplayer battles or campaigns. I can almost promise there will be not a single multiplayer campaign, co-op or head-to-head, of Total War or any other game. I'll just make the commitment for Total War in 2018. It was not a mistake in the slightest for me to stop doing that stuff earlier this year. I haven't seen any drop of views, and in fact, the general response, I'm getting a hell of a lot less hate than I was when I was doing multiplayer. So I don't care for the multiplayer community at all, and I'm just going to stay well away from that pretty much indefinitely now. Like I said, it was a mistake to participate with them in the first place, and leaving them has been a good move for me. We'll continue that in 2018. Okay, another thing, in 2018, they were going to make a hard push to finish the Seleucid campaign. There's about 80 episodes left to go, so it's still got about a third of the series left to go. But in January and February, I'm going to try and get maybe 1 episode a day online. Obviously, the Seleucid campaign is a bit of a difficult one to deal with. It was a campaign that I started to reward you guys for turning off your ad block bloody 2 years ago. However, the problem is now that it's dragged on for such a long time that it doesn't actually generate that many views, because people have... Obviously, victory is certain. It's just a matter of going through the motions and going through it. And some people do enjoy the Seleucid campaign, but the main quality of a campaign, in terms of whether or not I should be doing it or not, comes down to views. And it doesn't pull the numbers. Now, I often use to explain how my channel works with like TV ratings. If you guys don't watch a series on TV, it has low ratings. And if it has low ratings, it gets cancelled, or for whatever other reasons. Like if Kevin Spacey rapes a few people or whatever, or tries to. Things get cancelled. It works very much the same way with YouTube. I like to do series that I enjoy, but also that get good views. And so if I don't enjoy it, I won't do more series of it, which is kind of what we're seeing with Total Warhammer 2. They do get good views some of the time, but I can't really physically do that many of the campaigns without getting frustrated. It just doesn't have enough of a replay value. On the other hand is things like Europa Barbarorum, which I thoroughly enjoy, but get fuck all views. And so series like those, they don't necessarily get cancelled, but it's more like there will be no other EB campaign. Like after the Seleucid campaign is over, there will not be another EB campaign. This is the one and only EB campaign there is ever going to be on this channel. That's just the way it is, because it just didn't perform well. I mean, if suddenly all of a sudden all of the episodes got 200% more views, I'd be more than happy to do another campaign. But that is, I might as well buy a lottery ticket and wait to win the lottery, because it's more likely to happen than tripling, doubling, or whatever the views for the Seleucid campaign. It's just not going to happen. It's just fanciful to even think about it, or whatever. But that's just the reality of things. Alright, another thing. In terms of videos for the rest of the year, I've had a bit of a long think about, because this next week is the most important. Let me just explain exactly how ad revenue sort of works. With the next 3 months, as in December, January, February, are sort of like the pivotal months of the year in terms of what you'll see in terms of YouTube. December, all the advertisers are advertising for Christmas, and so naturally that drives advertising prices up. When advertising prices go up, the content creators get a larger share of that money. So my CPM, which is cost per mile, how much money I make per 1,000 views, skyrockets in December. So this next week here, when all the companies are going to be really trying to push for the Christmas sales, are going to be advertising the most, I need to make sure the videos I release between now and then are the best videos I've done this year. If I'm releasing Seleucid campaign videos in this week here, I'm doing myself a disservice. So for the rest of the year, there will be no more Byzantine, Alani, or Seleucid campaign episodes released. They will be released heavily in January. Now, that being said, in January, none of the companies are really trying to sell anything anymore. It's basically retail dead zone. So January and February, advertising revenue goes off. So that's the perfect time for me to offload all the crap. For me to do all my experiments, to test out with things like the Warpath campaign. I probably should actually not do any more Warpath campaign this year. Although there's only 3 episodes, so maybe just finish off, because that's going abysmal as well. But whatever. So another thing is that because the next few weeks are so important, I'll be releasing a new campaign series for Rome 1 tomorrow, which I haven't started recording yet, but it's been on my mind to do for ages. Now I know that means that there's a lot of concurrent series currently running, but a few of these series are just about to end. In fact, the Asur campaign will probably end today, because there's only 1 episode left. And that was for full map completion as well. Another thing is that what's been a bit of a struggle over 2017, that's what year it is, has been, for one thing, I moved from renting a house to owning a house. We own the house I currently live in, but this house tends to have a lot more background noise. And you guys have been hearing a lot of birds chirping and planes flying overhead, because we're closer to the city now, so naturally there's more noises. So what we've done is we've got some audio, or acoustic foam around the office. It's about probably 50% covered in it. It blocks out probably about 50% of the background noise now, so the audio quality should be a lot better for series recorded as of now. So hopefully you'll appreciate that. I don't know. We'll see. It wasn't cheap either, just to letting you guys know. And I didn't do any fucking Indiegogo or crowdfunding for it either. Anyway, now next year, at some point, I've been told that we should be getting NBN here. Now, just in case people aren't familiar with what that is, Australia has terrible internet. We're just not very technologically advanced in terms of that. Most of Australia gets between like, the only thing that matters is upload speed for me, but generally speaking about 1 megabit per second. Upload speed is the norm for like cable internet, which is what I've got now. I've got boosted cable internet, which means I pay for extra bandwidth, and that gets me to about 1.5 megabits per second, which is why on my live streams I cannot live stream more than 720p with 20 FPS because I just don't have the bandwidth. Now, NBN is supposed to be being connected up to my place sometime between now and April of next year, and when that happens, my bandwidth could possibly increase up to 5 megabits per second, which is still not very good, but it's a hell of a lot better than 1.5. Now, when that happens, for one thing, we should start to see better quality live streams, but also I can start releasing better quality videos, because it takes a certain amount of time to upload a video, and if it's going to be 90 minutes long, I can't have it be 20 gigabytes because it will take 3 days to upload. If I start releasing the highest possible kind of videos every single time, you guys will be only getting 1 video a week, and you'll be going, what's going on? There's only 1 video a week. I remember when there was 2 videos a week. Look, when I started on YouTube, the videos I were uploading were about 500 megabytes, and now I'm uploading videos that are several gigabytes. Like 7 gigabytes is usually sort of a normal size. So the quality has gone up considerably since I first started on YouTube, and will continue to go up. But anyway, where am I heading to with this? Well, when the NBN gets connected, I have a choice. I can probably either go up to 1440p instead of 1080p, which, by the way, you'll still be able to watch it at 1080p, because I know when I said I was going to increase the quality earlier this year, some people was like, oh, but I don't have good internet. I was just like, well, just watch it at 360p then. You know, YouTube converts it into a variety of formats. But anyway, I'm just talking about max quality. So, or I can do higher quality 1080p. So the videos that I release, that I record, are not raw video files. They're compressed video files, meaning that they might be a little bit pixelated. So, as an example, whenever I record any series at the moment, it's currently on 1080p. Now, on the quality set, I use a recording software called Bandicam. Now, just to give you guys an idea of how compressed the videos are, the quality setting is set to 40 or sometimes 50 depending on the series, which means that that's 50% quality. That I found is the ideal current compression for me to upload regularly. Now, my computers never turn off, constantly uploading, and that's how I'm managing to keep up with 2 or 3 videos a day. So my electricity bill is fairly high. So all of these things add up. Now, if we can get an increase in bandwidth, obviously 7 gigabytes is probably not that big of a deal. I could probably increase videos to 10, 14 gigabytes. So an increase to 1440p, or maybe both increase in quality, that may be possible. Let me know in the comments which you would prefer, because I've heard the NBN can actually not be that great as well. I need to wait and see. Anyway, that's all the things I want to talk about. Let me know what you think. I appreciate the feedback. I don't appreciate suggestions. Okay, so just to make it very clear what I mean between the difference of feedback and suggestions are, if you say something like, hey Legend, I really enjoy your Rome 1 and Medieval 2 campaigns, that's feedback. If you say, oh Legend, I really hate your Warhammer Total War campaigns, that's feedback. If you were to say, hey Legend, could you please do Empire Total War Prussia, that's a fucking suggestion, and you keep that shit to yourself. I'll see you next time, fuckers.